right, guys. Looks like we're live now. Yeah, I gotta move that around a little bit. Welcome in, everybody.
Hello, hello. Hello. Hello, hello.
We are officially live with our first episode of Firefight Hindsight. Just kind of a overview of what we're doing here and what all we're going to be covering. Essentially, the podcast is set up for us to do a breakdown of an after-action clip. So you're playing Tarkov and you've died. Let's break down what happened, learn from it as a group, share our own opinions as far as what happened, and then we can kind of analyze it. Maybe what can we have done differently in a positive way that not only is going to help new players become better players, but maybe even teach veteran players something new, or trigger them to come out and voice their opinion and maybe give us another viewpoint that we didn't even think about. So hopefully this is a means to open up communications of the community and a way to learn as a whole. Now, what I'd like to try to do when we start off is I'm going to go clockwise and have you guys introduce yourselves. Introduce, your name, where they can find you, your socials, all that fun stuff. And then we will dive into the first video and the fine gentleman who donated his clip for us to be able to review tonight, and then we will look at the clip. So if you could, please lead us off, Farmer.
Put me on the spot right away.
I'm sorry.
Hi, I'm Farmer Dylon. Stream on Twitch Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and kind of a degen when it comes to doing TikTok stuff and other content. But yeah, that's basically me. I'm just a dad that works on cars during the day and plays games at night.
Excellent. And some actual really awesome looking cars, by the way. Just want to put that out there. I've seen you work on some pretty wicked cars, Farmer.
They're fun. That is for sure. But it's still work.
Converts, tell us about yourself, brother.
All right, I'm Converts. I stream on Twitch. I'm a father of 3. I'm a CNC machinist during the day and dad and streamer by night. Been playing Tarkov for over 3,000 hours. So, still learning. Still getting better myself, so we can all learn from this experience in this podcast, and that's about it.
3,000 hours and still learning.
Did I miss that? Was I supposed to say how many hours I put into the game?
Honestly, I don't know how many hours I've played.
I didn't look at the memo. I'm
the higher that number gets, and the more that I die, the more it's going to make me feel bad. So, Mr. Wiz, will you introduce yourself, please?
Toplo Wiz. I stream on Twitch just about every night because I'm addicted to Tarkov. I have about just under 4,000 hours, and I'm still below average. I'm in IT, ex-DJ, producer, surfer, skater, degen, check all the boxes.
Well, I'm glad to have you here, Wiz, and Mr. Hack.
Thank you for having me.
All right. I'm Hack.Slash. I part-time streamer, full-time nerd. I program for a living for the state of Florida, and then I play Tarkov and do cool things like this with awesome people. And I have 5,000 hours in Tarkov, roughly.
Only.
Yeesh.
And then I'll go last here. My name's Bat Barbados. I am a father of 2, and I am a full-time content creator on Twitch and also on YouTube. And I have roughly 5,800 hours on Tarkov. I don't like to count it because, like I said, every time I look at that number and I realize I died to dumb stuff, it makes me just a little bit more frustrated with myself. So There we go, guys. This is the group. This is these gentlemen here make up the Firefight Hindsight crew. In the future, we will be adding guests as we go along. We're definitely open to having guests come on and talk with us and sharing their clips with us as well. We're getting a Discord together for everyone to be able to submit their clips and also to bring people in to the podcast alongside us. The first submission that we're going to look at, you can see it there in the main screen. This is a clip by Boom Boom Billy, and his. I'm going to throw it into chat here, but if you want a link to Boom Boom Billy's stream, it's twitch.tv/Boom Boom Billy, spelt the exact same way it sounds. And so we got to give him some props for sharing with us this clip, and for us to be able to share it on our first ever podcast. So the next thing to do here, guys, is we're going to look at this clip in full screen, full volume, full speed. All right, we're going to take a look at it in its entirety, and then we will come back and discuss. And if need be, we will go back and we'll do 50%, 25% speed. We'll slow it down. We'll speed it up if we need to. But let's take a look at it and see what happened to Billy during his stream. So let's go full screen here, gentlemen. All right, and we're going to play.
Oh my gosh, that was... I don't know how he survived so many shots, dude.
Now, I messed that up a little bit. We didn't get to see the full clip, so I'm going to start over.
All right.
Oh my gosh, that was... I don't know how he survived so many shots.
All right. Now, I'm going to kick off, if that's okay with everybody here, on the discussion end, just so we can kind of start to talk about this clip. So what I noticed is that audio-wise was actually pretty good. You could hear the guy in front of him. You could hear him run to the left as he was up top there at the pier. So Billy had a pretty solid audio cue that the guy was trying to flank around behind him from where his location was. However, in this case, I feel that Billy was, one, undergunned. He was undergunned by the use of his SKS versus whatever this guy was using. Maybe even undergeared as far as armor was concerned. But he was also in a pretty bad spot. You get tied up in those tires. It's hard to move around right there, and you're pretty confined to a very small location. So it's hard to move. There's no cover for him. Does anybody want to maybe add to that, or?
Well, the one thing I thought he did everything good. The one thing I noticed though was the panic fire, which emptied out his clip. Mag, I should say, to be proper. But everything looked pretty good besides that. I think that's where, it became a problem, I think.
I was going to say, can you back it up to that last little exchange they had before he died?
So at this point here,
Yeah.
do you want it to? We'll play it at full speed.
Yeah, I just want to see something real quick.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, that was...
Okay, yeah. I wasn't sure because I know one of the things I've been trying to work on is when you have like a broken or a black leg and you try to, because your first instinct is I'm going to shoot at something, I want to be moving so I'm not hittable. But if you have that black leg, your aim does the ocean thing. So sometimes it's better to actually stop moving to aim when you're busted up like that. And I wasn't sure if that was the case with him or if it was just left versus right, spray and pray.
Yeah, it appeared to be left versus right. It's like a spray and pray there. And also, I know with the pile of tires there on the ground that you can get sometimes hung up with that. So maybe you can't strafe the way that you would want to during a fight in that particular location.
Yeah. And the other thing that, he kind of had going against him was he was, he started shooting as the guy jumped to the left, but then he started to also go left with him. So he maintained within his fire rate instead of trying to like back rotate up the stairs, that may have helped.
So instead of pushing forward in this clip, we're saying that maybe would have been beneficial for him to take the high ground. He was already on the staircase. He could have continued to push up the stairs. That guy had already jumped down. He now has the high ground, and that may have been more beneficial for him to shoot down at this guy. One thing that I saw, and I'm not sure if you guys saw, and I want to slow it down. We're gonna look at it again slow. But one of the things that I noticed in this clip is I'm pretty sure I saw a puff of blood on a headshot that Billy had laid down on this guy while he was in midair. So there could have been just a slight bit of the desync that we all kind of deal with on Tarkov. Let's look at it again real quick. I slowed it down, and let's take a look at what happens. That flash right there. That flash appears
so
to be
inconvenient.
Oh, went too far.
That flash blinds everything out.
He's got a flashlight. I mean, flashlight works in the daytime.
All right, so Billy reloads. He goes up the stairs. At this point, the guy is behind the wall, and Billy could have finished going up the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
But at this juncture, when he jumps, if you look closely, there appears to be a speck of blood flying from the headshot. I'm going to slow it way down. Did you guys
Yeah.
catch the blood
I
flying?
see the red. Yeah.
And so that, to me, would have been a desync because you can see the blood in the air from the shot. He's using 7.62 PS ammunition here, I would assume, because none of us are really using the good stuff yet. But that still should have been enough to drop someone with a clean shot like that to the head. So I'm assuming this is a little bit of desync related problems, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, it's like a picture of Bigfoot, man. It's like that one frame you need with all the information is just not visible. You can't see,
Exactly.
It's like it's the flash that blocks the UFO. It's crazy.
Exactly.
I mean, you could have, in the way that we know Tarkov is notorious about, like, oh, you hit nape instead of back, like it's a totally different spot. He may have caught it in the chest, but there's just it's hard to tell with the speed and the movement and the flashlight and the sun rays.
Now, leading up to this fight, Billy pushed on that angle because he knew somebody was in the pier area. Would we have pushed up like that on that end? Would we have done something different? Farmer, go ahead.
Well, see, and that's I think that was the first thing that kind of hit my brain initially, is just watching that clip back and him knowing that somebody's up there, right? I think maybe a little bit of patience in that situation, because obviously the guy knows he's there as well. Billy's got a right-hand peek. He's got hard cover there, or at least a little bit more hard cover there than he had once he pushed out.
Mm-hmm.
Being that he's using an SKS, obviously he doesn't know what that guy's using, but maybe holding that angle for a little bit longer and just waiting the guy out for a little bit longer could have been a better play in that situation. That's what I personally would have tried to do. Now, again, this is hindsight, right? So
exactly,
we can sit and pick that apart, but to me personally, I think a little bit more patience there could have been a little bit better for him.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I think, if I was in his shoes, because if you back it up to the very beginning of the clip, he's in that corner sort of pocket alcove right there.
Right in here. Yep.
you can move actually back out around that, and keep going up like the ridge of the thing. So he may, of here that guy's coming, he's either going to step on you or you're going to push him, kind of deal. But he, in the moment, one of those things. It's like I would have maybe tried to go way, way back, force him to like expose himself more, by like catching that cheeky, behind the dock thing.
Well, because with his push that he had there, he opened himself up to that guy getting that, above behind flank on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, clearly
High
at the
ground is
beginning.
normally. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, please.
High ground is normally the best position you can have. With him being low and that guy having, obviously, Billy has the cover there with the blue fence, but Billy's got a right hand peek, right?
Mm-hmm.
So even if he holds here where he's at right now, where the video's paused, he might have a better chance and then trying to get stuck in those tires. Or like Hack said, back up, get more cover. Because I think there's isn't there a little barrier right there too or something that you're kind of hidden behind or something close up, tucked up to the fence?
Yeah.
And he can read all of his movement right there. You can hear all that concrete.
Do you think he would have had enough time to actually, after he hit that first shot, and sprinted back and then circled back around the front? Or do you think he would have got in the back?
Well,
I'm saying before he even engaged it.
Oh, gotcha.
He could have backed up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, during
been more patient,
listening.
Yeah.
So
listen to what he's doing. Be a little bit more patient. You can even back up to the corner where that body is, and maybe you can even sneak a shot in from that hole where that body is in the corner of the fence.
That's
I've
a
done
great
that plenty
idea.
of times.
Yeah, so have I.
That is a great.
And
So can we dive into that real quick? Now, the spot that you're talking about on the pier is as soon as you get to the gate of the pier, on the right-hand side, there's a little bit of a gap in the fence where the little dead body is on the inside. That little bit of a gap in the fence is what was Convert just saying that Billy could have used as maybe a little keyhole to be still behind cover, but maybe sneak a couple shots in at whoever he's fighting. Maybe knock down some of his health points or even end the fight right there without this guy even seeing Billy and without Billy having to push the fight the way that he did. Now, with this, if I were to play it again, what we're going to hear is the audio. You can hear the audio on our left. You'll be able to hear the guy running from left to right towards the end of the fence. He's going to peek. Billy's going to pop a shot at that guy. Now, before Billy pops the shot, are we saying maybe back up before then? Because he's right there. Do we back up and make it harder for this guy to peek us? Or do we hold the angle like Billy did? Because I feel like if I was in this predicament and I knew the guy was there, I would hold the angle the way that Billy did and try to pop him as soon as he peeked me on the corner of the fence. But that shot missed, unfortunately. But after that shot missed, do we push forward? Do we push back? I like the idea of instead of even getting into the fight, to use the map knowledge to your advantage and to use that little peephole in the fence to potentially get some shots down on this guy beforehand. I'm going to look at it just one more time just to kind of go through it. This is full speed. So right here, Billy missed a shot with this guy peeking on the corner of the fence. Are we saying maybe back up at this point, or do you think he's already in it and there's really no way to?
The audio sounds like he hits him right there with that shot.
Yeah, like
He does.
that's for me. I think Billy started. He kicked off that engagement, right? Like they both know they're there. He kicks off that engagement, and he's already in this. He's lower down. That guy has the high ground.
There's a good clip there. You can see the guy's full. He's doing a full left-hand peek here with Billy. Billy's got a shot at the chest and the head. Honestly, if that shot was just slightly higher, it probably never would have been a fight to begin with. Billy would have just dropped that guy with one shot to the head at this point.
Yeah, that was a terrible peek by that guy. He totally he got lucky not getting bopped in the head there.
He really did. He really did. Once again, though, because of what happened later on in the fight, maybe there was a little bit of desync there too. So I mean, we obviously hear the hit, but we're seeing him aiming at the chest. Maybe it hit the arm.
So one thing I would say, I guess, a difference in fight mentality of different players. So Billy does what I guess I would do, others would do, is he pops the guy and then he immediately whips away to try not to get shot, right? Maybe, if I was an overly confident, Chad player, I would have sat there and just sprayed the guy down. Because even if he pulled back, you can hit him through those blue fence. We do it all the time,
Yep.
And just because even if he pulls back, you've got the position, you've got the angle, he's on the retreat, then you can move forward and continue, hitting him. But it's one of those things where, like, sometimes it's better to tag and go. Sometimes it's better to hold, what you got. It's, again, hindsight, you never really know.
So once again, that's a really good point. So similar to what Converse was saying, which is using the hole in the fence to your advantage, you just made a really good point. Even with PS ammo, it's going to go through that blue fence. And that's
100%.
And that comes down to, once again, we'll categorize that as map knowledge, or utilizing map knowledge, because I'm pretty sure Billy knows bullets go through that fence as well. But at the time during the fight, with adrenaline going on, maybe he didn't think to use the fence to his advantage to be able to shoot through it for maybe a secondary or a second or a third shot to follow up from that first hit.
Yeah.
Because clearly this gentleman, once he gets hit first, he's gonna go right. He's gonna try to get back behind cover again. At least what he feels is cover, which is actually just concealment in this case.
Yeah, exactly.
And just to kind of put that out there to chat, the difference between cover and concealment is cover can eat a bullet, concealment can't. Concealment will hide you, but is not going to stop you from getting shot. In this case, the blue fence is strictly concealment. You can't physically see him, but you can shoot him through it. So I just wanted to point that out for anybody listening. If we use the terms cover versus concealment in the podcast, that's kind of what we're talking about. All right, guys. So I feel like we have multiple different angles here of ways that we could have taken this fight differently that may have ended in a victory for Billy. Once again, I want to thank Billy for submitting this video for us to do a breakdown on it. I think we've covered numerous angles here. And this also kind of shows similar fights that we've had so many times throughout the years of playing Tarkov, where we look at it afterwards and we wish we did things differently. But you know what? At the end of the day, Billy did his best at the time. We got to appreciate that. Learn from it. This is why we're breaking this down. And we kind of take that lesson with us to the next raid. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to look at the second clip. We're going to get it loaded up here. A little bit of a please stand by screen. I do apologize about that, but it's temporary until we find something better as a placeholder. It really is. And actually, this next clip, interestingly enough, is submitted by our very own SoFlo Wiz. And the clip itself kind of, hey man, don't be embarrassed about it. We've all done this.
Death clips for days.
We all do.
No shortage of that.
We all do, yeah, for sure. But this next clip coming up was submitted by SoFlo Wiz. And we're gonna watch the clip.
Before go ahead. Before you show this, I wasn't ratting out. Okay, just to be clear, I was literally. I'm trying to get Tarkov Shooter 8 done. Okay, just to put things into perspective.
He has been. I can second that. He's been working on it very hard.
So what I can tell you is that we will not be judging somebody's playing style, only offering possible changes that they could have made during the action. So hey, rats are welcome here. Chads are welcome here.
Hey,
okay.
I'm the rat of the group. I'm not, I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not ashamed of it.
Prior to going to Wiz's clip, I give a shout out to Boom Boom Billy for pre-medding before that fight. Even though it didn't end up in his favor, I always stress to pre-med before you get into a fight, especially if you know you're about to fight.
Exactly. That was so before this fight, Billy knew that somebody was down there. He was pushing him to get into a good position to kill this guy. he did pre-med as he was running down the side of the road of Pier. And so when this clip happened, you did notice that there was a pre-med. There was a med active on Billy before the fight even started. And that is vital. Like what Hack said, sometimes you get shot in the leg, you can't move. With using a med, especially a painkiller, it allows you to still move even if you've been shot in the leg, which is, I mean, that could win or lose you a fight right there. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and we're going to take a look at this clip, full speed in its entirety, and we're going to analyze what happened here with Wiz. We're not gonna shit on Wiz though. Okay, we're gonna love Wiz. All right, guys, here we go. All right.
Will compete with the guns that M80 can run, so you get destroyed. They are gatekeeping to the people who play this game 12 plus hours a day and putting them that much further ahead than everyone else.
I mean, yes and no. Here's the thing. All of those guys are.
Okay.
So, I guess
Terrible.
before we dig too deep into it, I just want to say, like, I'm not sure you did anything wrong, but I have noticed personally that helmets are cracked this wipe. I have taken headshots twice. The other day I was on Shoreline and I was looting a body, took a headshot, PK'd, peeked again, took another headshot, and then ran away. Like, helmets are insane this wipe.
Yes, they are actually doing their job. I can attest to the same thing. I've been smacked in the noggin multiple times in the same fight, and they are doing their job now.
Yeah, definitely.
All you helmet haters better try them again.
Helmets save lives, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And even if it's just a percentage on a ricochet, it's still a percentage that could mean that you stay in the fight. So
I mean,
wear
he
your
was
helmets.
hurt. You hear him gurgling, like it hurt him. I think, like, I forget what the total damage was on that, but
Oh, he
yeah,
was
it hurt him.
concussed,
I
for
think,
sure.
well, I heard him like gurgling, or coughing up.
Mhm.
But I feel like what I did wrong is as soon as I took that shot, instead of waiting for the second guy to poke out, I should have just jumped. I should have repositioned. I should have just got out of there.
Hit him quick,
Let's
rotate
peek
out.
again and
Yeah.
and take a look.
One more pin, one more damage, one more chance to frag, one more chance to ricochet. Ricochet is how we run through. There is only 4 guns that can run LPS with and none will compete with the guns that M80 can run, so you get destroyed. They are
Yeah, I mean,
gatekeeping to the people.
We've even got Tarkov chat going in the chat. Or Tarkov heads. Yes and no. Here's the thing. All of those guys are super fucking.
Yeah, so definitely after that shot I agree with your statement, man. After that shot, best thing probably would have been to was get off the rock, get off the X and move. You didn't kill him with the first shot, but maybe rotate out away from that location and get them as they come around the rock. Put a little distance between you and them. You have the range with that Mosin, and that is, that could have been beneficial there for you.
I totally agree.
It kind of locked you up there. Another thing too that I noticed, I don't know if Converse is going to mention this or not, but there was no PK in play. There was no painkiller used beforehand, but you were just chilling up on the rock. I don't think you were waiting. I didn't think you were expecting those guys to come up that close.
Well, the funny thing is there were shots behind me. If you went back a little further, which you don't need to do, but there were shots like either at Mob House or towards Scav House. So I was kind of like swiveling back, and then I heard them last second. Like, I wasn't expecting them. I was more expecting the guys to come up behind me first. And all of a sudden I started hearing boots, and I'm like, wait a minute, how are these guys here already? So yeah, I definitely didn't pre-med on that one. And I'm actually guilty of that all the time.
So
not gonna lie.
After that first shot, I definitely agree with you. You popped that first shot because you already know how many there was. I love your patience in the start. I love it. And then you decide you had a great shot. And I think the sight being up so high from your gun canceled that headshot. Moreover, whatever it's called, drawing a blank right now. Yeah. So that killed your headshot right there because you were aimed right at his head, but with that, the compensation, you hit his thorax. You knew there was two of them. You could have jumped on the other side of the rock, PK'd, got to a better vantage point. You know, there was two of them. You had the one hurt. You could have rotated around left, try to get behind that guy. You know, there's a bunch of different ways around that. That's spine, right?
No, that's the rock
no,
over by the lake.
Yeah.
Oh, that big rock. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right by the little campsite. But no, I totally agree. Totally agree with what you're saying. Totally agree.
Yeah, and just to kind of show everyone here in chat what Converts is talking about is you can see in the scope the barrel coming out, and you can see where the dot is. And when you're super close like that, the bullet doesn't have enough time to rise up to where the scope would be. The scope is sighted in at 50 meters. So when he takes that shot at what would be just slightly, I would say just slightly outside of point blank range, the bullet doesn't have enough time to rise. So even though you were scoped in on his ear, you're going to hit him in the neck or the shoulder. And that's something we have to account for in the optics.
So that's probably another good point. I should have switched to the iron sights on the scope. That probably, I might have been able to drop the first guy, and I still think I would have needed to relocate after that, though.
Well, I don't even think swapping over, because now you're even higher, right? Like your height of the bore is going to be even higher. Now you're not going to have magnification, but I still think, you know, like that's something to be conscious of. You know, like Barb said, you know, you're at 50 default, so you know, maybe having a little bit of compensation there for how close you were. And I also do agree, you know, immediately you already, you know, for a fact you're in at least a 1v2. So taking that first shot, even if you don't get the kill, immediately either just moving out of line of sight or relocating entirely, because you do have that range. And especially on woods, you know, you got plenty of concealment to get out of that situation if you need to.
Well,
I mean, I could have just took 2 steps back and I would have been out of sight. You know what I mean? I could have sat up there, went 2 steps back, popped some PKs, and then like repeat or, you know, watch the other side. Like I think the fatal error was just staying in one position. And I like preach it to everyone. Like if you take a shot or you get a kill, immediately move, just move, you know? So
now,
yeah, no, it's
do
good
you,
feedback.
when you guys, and I want to open this up for all of us here, because I think I'm guilty of doing this as well. I want to make 2 points. One is when we're running some type of a sniper related gun, like a Mosin or something ranged, like an M700, do you guys carry a sidearm with you or a secondary gun that is designed for CQB, where if they're up close, you can get to work? Because with the Mosin, you've got a single shot, it's more for range. Maybe put a Keter on your back and carry that Keter, just a spare mag with the Keter, you know, is all you need. But if you have a situation where these guys are super close, may have been better just to switch over to the Keter and melt them from above before you move, or bring in a little pistol. Hack, I know you're notorious with the 5.7s, brother. I've seen you put work in with that. Would you carry a 5.7 if you're out there sniping?
Honestly, because I'm an overquesting weirdo, I wouldn't have, honestly. Because he's trying to get kills with the Volti on woods. You know, yeah, another weapon would have won the fight, but then you won a fight, we didn't get anything out of it. You know what I mean? Honestly, if it were me and I had like a second to think about it, I would have tried to point fire that first guy. Probably be your best option, you know, because of your distance to him, the sight being as high as it is off the Mosin, which is why I hate putting anything on a Mosin. M700 gang. But, you know, kind of like you try to do with the second guy, you know, hit him with the point fire and then do your rotations and everything. But yeah, like you could have had another gun that would have helped, but at the end of the day, you were kind of doing the quest you were doing, so it was either do or die.
Honestly, it's funny you said that because that's exactly why I don't bring a sidearm, because I feel like I'll switch to it and I won't get the kill. Because I can't tell you how many times I've attempted Tarkov Shooter 8 and I've got 2 of them and I ended up killing the other one with a different weapon, or so it kind of forces you, yeah, exactly. It forces you to, use it. But
well,
yeah,
I do want to say something about that though, right? Because I think all of us are guilty of it, but getting caught up in that task at hand, right? Like, is it necessarily better to be just gung ho on the Mosin and to die and then have to, rebuy gear and do all the stuff and then run it back? Or would it be better to carry that sidearm with you or that secondary with you and, have a higher percentage of winning that 1v2 or that CQB fight and then getting out and just re-rolling the kit? Right, yeah, well, like you're not spending
survival
money.
is the name of the game, so yeah,
it really
That's
is.
true. I mean, that is another good way to look at it.
And I do want to point out though that we as Tarkov players do this all the time. I noticed, I'm gonna call Hack out here. The other day, Hack was doing a task where you had to kill scabs on woods without healing.
Oh God.
And you know what happened? The first time we went out to do that, he healed because he had heals on him.
I saw
Guilty.
a scab.
We've all done that.
I'm gonna PK before I fight this scab, and then the second I hit that Vaseline, it went, and I went, oh fuck.
Yep. We've all done that, brother. We've all done that. And so the next raid in, you know what he did? He went in with no PKs whatsoever. It was a do or die situation. Either he's getting it done or he's dying trying. And I think that also when it comes to a quest like Shooter 8, that you go in with the Mosin and nothing else because you need the Mosin kills. You need those sniper kills for the task. And at that point, you weigh out, well, is it better to survive and get out and have to do it over again? Or is it better to just die trying and start from scratch? I think that's kind of something that we all have to weigh as Tarkov players. One thing, though, that I did want to also mention here, and I know my own personality and how I am when I'm sniping or I'm shooting at people in this game, that when Wiz fired the first shot, I also would have stood there on the rock. But I would have stood there on the rock going, why didn't he just drop? Why didn't he die? What the what? I would have been waiting for I would have been sitting there waiting for the death scream or the death sound of my shot hitting him, and the fact that it didn't, I would be confused. And I think that would have kept me up on that rock long enough for the guy to come around and shoot me. So even if I got that kill, I think it would be harder for us to be like, well, we should have moved, but at the same time, I know I probably wouldn't have, because I would have just been confused as why he didn't die.
So someone in my chat mentioned, why not wait until that second guy was more in front and then shoot the second guy? I know the guy stood still, so I totally get why you shot that one, Wiz, but you already knew there was 2 of them. Let the second guy get in the open, then you already have enough time, because the other guy's already past you, to reposition.
You're taking them by surprise as well.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense.
You know,
I was being patient, but that was impatient. Just the easy
you were
kill,
super patient, but that guy stood still. I would have took the same shot until someone in my chat said, "Why not let that first guy go past, and then the other guy's a sitting duck?" And then, go ahead.
Let's slow this down. Take a look at it at half speed. That way we can kind of take a look at how the first shot gets lined up and taken, and then we wait for the second guy to come into the scene, and we'll look at it from that point.
Okay.
So at this point, you're already aiming at his neck.
I'm aiming for the neck,
and the bullet's gonna hit him. Because of the sight over bore. Just like Convert said originally, I think you're spot on with that. Side over bore, that bullet hit him in the arm.
Into consideration, to be honest.
I was sitting here going, man, that helmet tanked, and then now I'm sitting here going, no, dumbass, you're too close. Like, that makes so much more sense.
It really does. But see, that's the knowledge that I think we need to share, especially with new players, because it's not like Call of Duty the bullets aren't hitting where the dot is.
Correct.
It's more realistic. And so that bullet probably hit him in the arm or maybe the thorax.
Yeah, because he was sputtering like he got hit in the thorax.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, coughing.
Yeah, it sounds like a thorax shot. Yeah.
Yes and no. Here's the thing.
So here's his buddy at this point, coming out the exact same spot that the first guy was. And you're saying at this point, or at least Chad is saying at this point, it may have been beneficial to already be scoped in.
No. Prior to even shooting the first guy, since he already
further up the hill.
he already knew there was two of them. Because previous, you've seen two in one picture, correct? Prior to him shooting.
Yes.
So let that first guy go completely past. Take the first shot on the second guy, and say Wiz kills that second guy. Then it's a 1v1 instead of a 1v2.
No, that I totally agree. That would have been the ticket.
Well, or even again going back to the patience portion. You could have let both of those guys pass and hit him in the back from the opposite side of the rock.
Because you kind of know where they're going.
Yeah.
You know they're going to outskirts or attachment cabin.
Just a little bit.
Roll it back a little bit.
Just a smidge. I want to see something.
Okay. Well, it's gonna be a little difficult. Here we go. Okay.
There's only 4 guns that can run LPS with and.
Hear those shots in the background? That's what I was worried about. I was close.
So you get destroyed. They're gatekeeping to the people who play this.
There's the first guy coming into the scene, and then off scope you can see the second guy coming into the scene.
There was a shadow in the corner. I thought there was a third guy, but it was just a shadow.
And neither of them seen you.
No. So
They had no clue I was there.
Which is impressive.
Yeah, like I always check that rock.
I check.
Oh,
yeah. I
yeah.
check it all the time.
Absolutely.
And now
but we checked that rock because of map knowledge, right? We know that people like to get up on that rock and snipe. How do we know? Because we've probably been sniped from that rock a time or 3. I know I've lost some kits at that location.
Oh yeah.
So these guys were completely oblivious, and I do like that comment about waiting, letting them move past the rock, getting some distance between you and them, because also talking map knowledge, they're moving like they're heading towards gray. They're heading up the side. They were on their way over to what we call the bag rock, and once they get clear of this rock, they're in the open until they get to bag rock. There's some trees in between, but if you have that angle on them, you could be popping them and shooting them the entire way to bag rock. Which could have changed the fight for you, or it could have been worse as well, because now they're at a higher bore of access to you, which means they can see you easier up on that rock because they're at a higher elevation.
I actually don't think that they were I don't think they were moving to gray. I think those guys were skirting the outskirts.
Were they heading
the
outskirts?
Okay. Like Mod Shack.
Oh,
I mean, they could have
still.
definitely diverted. But
Yeah.
I think that's where they were headed, was the shots over at that Mod Shack, kind of closer to outskirts, which still puts them a little bit higher in elevation, though, depending on how they go about that.
Yeah, anywhere past those rocks on that hill is be easy pickings.
Right.
So Wiz, I want to thank you for submitting that video, that clip, for us to kind of do a breakdown on.
It's an honor to be here. I love the feedback, and one thing I want to say, like, everything you guys had suggested definitely would have been a better play than what went down. And just for everybody else out there, like, the one thing I've learned in this game is patience, and patience wins and greed gets you killed every time.
Yeah, it's very true. Very true. And once again, I want to point out, this is Firefight Hindsight podcast. This is hindsight. This is not judging what happens during the fight. We're just looking at potential We're just looking at the potential for us to be able to, what can we learn
Get
from
better.
it? What lesson? How do
Yeah.
we get better? And sharing that with our chats, maybe by us sharing that death clip, chat can see that, can see our breakdown, understand where our mental is afterwards, how we self-reflect on that type of a fight, and maybe they can use that to better their gameplay as well. So now this next clip, I'm going to jump into the next clip here, was submitted by Mr. Converts. We're gonna see Converts here in action. Not the normal Converts though. This guy must have been on it. He was sick that day. He was not well. All right, brother. We're gonna jump into this clip real quick. Let's take a look at it in full speed, and then we will dive back in and try to analyze it. So here we go.
Oh, I got one tap by the scav.
That was a very quick clip. It was. But there's a lot to it. There's definitely a lot to that clip.
Terminator scav.
God, that feels bad. I've been there so many times.
So my question is, right off the rip, how come that scav didn't calm or shoot at the first two guys in front of you that cleared that corner? Because at that point, I myself would have assumed that the coast was clear. Two guys went in front of me and nobody yelled, nobody shot. Hey, it must be clear for me to come across that corner too. But because of that false sense of security, that scav just zeroed in on you, brother. And that is rough, man. That is rough.
And that's
Just- Go ahead.
I was gonna say that's one of those things that's like you don't realize it's RNG, but like he could have been facing the other way when they ran past, and the moment you went around the corner, he swiveled back your direction. You know what I mean? And there's no way to tell.
True.
It's just completely, no one knows.
And that was also 7.5
Well, of course it
buckshot
was.
from that far away.
Those are the
Oh,
worst
Everybody
ones,
else
dude.
except for
Jaws.
me.
The worst ones.
that was a
Yeah.
Taz scav.
It's the best ammo in the game.
And- oh my goodness. So this is one of those case scenarios where, okay, how do we fix this? Like, what would we have done differently? Honestly, I would have done the same thing. And if anybody watches me knows damn well, I died of these scavs way more than I ever am going to admit that I died of these scavs. They're horrible. They're very cranked up. And I think maybe when this clip was created, they were still turned up, right? This is still really early wipe, I'd assume. Judging.
I think this was his third day or second day of wipe. Yeah.
Okay, so the
Okay, yeah.
scavs were still running
Crazy
full
scavs.
blast. And just to mention, within the first week, about the first week mark, BSG actually did turn down the sensitivity on the scavs a wee bit to make them more realistic and not Terminators, because they were melting PMCs on the maps. It was so hard to get our tasks done the opening week. But in this clip, what could we have done differently? I mean, we had two men go in front of us, so we automatically assumed it was clear, but we didn't pie out the angle. We just ran in, and we ran into the open, which opened us up to a shot. But with that being said, I would have done the exact same thing, and I'm pretty sure most of us here would have done the exact same thing as well. It's really hard to dissect it because of that fact. Let's slow it.
I don't think any of our reaction times are fast enough to dodge that bullet right there.
No, there's no way. You had no chance. He was yelling as he shot you. What does that mean? That means you looked at him as the bullets were coming. And you
Yeah.
basically said, here, shoot me in the face. I'm going to slow this down. We'll slow this way down. And then we'll take a look at it real quick and just look at it at a quarter speed. Maybe get a little bit of a better viewpoint of where the scab was and how he got aggroed the way he did. Once again, you've got two gentlemen in front of you, two players in front of you. They both cleared that corner with no issue.
Well, and that corner is so dark too. Like
Oh, it
those
is.
guys checked it. And
Yeah, there's so many shadows in that little area over there when you look because of the bushes and the overhang from the building. It's just dark
Yeah.
nonsense. You know,
And honestly, and I don't know where Converts was in this moment where he's at this location, but as I'm crossing across the front of this building, I'm stressing what's inside that building more than I am what's going to be coming around that corner. Because more often than not, there's a scav in that building or there's somebody looting in that building that's going to shoot at me as I run past. Because at this point, if somebody was in that building, you're now wide open. There's no cover. There's no concealment where he's at right now at this point.
I was trusting the perfect Tarkov audio.
Yes. It is definitely not perfect. Definitely not. And while the last few wipes we've been preaching how awesome binaural audio is, I strongly suggest turning it off. And I think all of us can agree with that. It's probably not worth running at this moment until they fix the audio, and then it'll get better.
Does it even matter though?
The binaural, definitely. Just because of the audio placement, like it's off right now, and they have to work on it. All right, let's finish this up and go into the get him into the alley here. This is what I sound like at a mana night. I'm just saying.
It's a great night.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't think the
you
scav
see nothing there.
You see absolutely nothing.
He calms at the second guy.
He's calming at the second guy, but you are in his line of fire. He's over. I assume he's right off to the left of the green container.
Yeah.
Yep. You can see his muzzle flash to the right of the bushes, I think.
All right, let's keep going.
I'm assuming he's by the little stash drop-down hole.
Right there, right where you're aiming. You saw his flash.
And then I die.
Shot.
It's still good reaction time, though.
Yeah, I mean, my current thinking, and this is something that I guess really got reinforced this wipe, is I'm at the point now, if I even hear a scav, my first order of business is find cover. I don't want that scav looking at me for a single frame.
Right.
Yep.
Once they know I'm there for that exact reason, because that's happened to me 40 times this wipe. So I can hear a wonton and I'm jumping, skipping, hopping, get me behind something, dude.
100%.
Insane. I'd rather
100%.
Easily.
Yeah, I'm more scared of scavs than PMCs for sure. Especially scavs.
Always break line of sight on those guys.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that I always tell, like the first thing I tell new players, everybody has all their amazing tips. Never duel a scav, right? Because
never
they've got
duel a
two
scav,
modes.
yes.
One, they're going to miss you and then they're going to shoot you, or they're just going to shoot you. And neither one, is a good time. The worst thing is when a scav pops you in the leg and then he starts yelling and he sees, they walk up your body, you got leg, you take a torso, and then they're just playing with you at that point. It's ridiculous.
Can I also mention how devious it is that they added the scav laugh after you die?
Oh my god, dude!
You hear it. You hear it as you're dropping to the ground. Your screen is going black.
Insult to injury.
And then you hear the scav cackle, and it's like, you son of a gun.
It's 100% on purpose. It has to be.
It for sure is. It for sure is.
I think you already mentioned it with the way that everybody's kind of running, the approach right there, going out into basically the middle of the open. I think that's a potential just gameplay thing to change. I've gotten into the mode of just clear everything. If you're not hearing anything, like I clear buildings regardless. And going into that warehouse on the left instead of just pushing straight across is now what I do. Because almost that exact same situation has happened to me several times. So I go into the warehouse, I clear it, I loot in there, then push into the next warehouse, and at least you have a little bit more cover from that push into the next warehouse. That's what I would change, and what I have changed personally.
Okay.
I like it.
Yeah, that whole section of customs, I don't play it because it's there's cover, but it's bad cover. It's almost like an obstacle course. You're either A, wide open running down the wall where you've got nothing, or you're hopping and skipping over all the pipes and crap that are laying out in the middle of the courtyard. So it's like you're a sitting duck almost no matter what you do. I hate. Yeah, I would
Honestly,
rather-
go ahead. Sorry, don't mean to
Yeah,
interrupt.
I'd go into that building on the left and follow the cover around, or I'd do what you did and get popped in the face.
No, well,
20
what I was
20.
going to say is I've never really worked that corner. I notoriously go along the wall to the back by the other exfil and along the building. Like I rarely go through the building around that corner. But that's just the rat in me.
No, but that's a valid strategy right there. And it's hard, man. It's hard when you're
Plus,
playing,
you got the
especially
rocks.
early
You
white.
got the rocks over by New Gas.
That can also
to get
shoot down
sniped
at
from.
you. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. It's such a vulnerable spot there, but then you mix it in with how cracked the scabs were, and it's kind of a bad situation, man. It really is. Also, I wanted to mention the time for the scab to calm and then shoot. I mean, when you look at it at full speed, it's like the blink of an eye. Normally they calm at you and you have like a split second to aim and shoot them. But in that location, it was so hidden because it was dark back there and the shadows and everything else that's going on. And the fact that he's literally shooting right as he's calming. That's a rough situation, brother. That really is.
Yeah, that's a top level
Yeah.
stuff.
But once again, like Farmer says, you could try to go through the building or clear it a little bit slower instead of just running out into the open. But there's a lot of things. Honestly, I probably would have done the exact same thing and suffered the exact same feat that happened to you. Guys, I know we slotted us for an hour, and we're already beyond an hour, and we've only broken down 3 clips. So one thing that I'd like to put out is anybody in the community who wants to submit their clips can submit to any of us for the next podcast. We'd love to review it, take a look at it, use it in the podcast, break it down scene by scene. And I'd also ask that you guys go out and follow these fine gentlemen. You don't have to do the intro again, guys. All right. I'm going to do it for you. We have Farmer Dylon on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/Farmer Dylon. The next gentleman there, a very handsome man with a beard, is Mr. Converts. He's also on Twitch, twitch.tv/Converts with a Z. We got SoFlo Wiz, once again, another Twitch man. SoFlo Wiz W1Z on his name. Please go and give these guys a follow. If you don't know this man, you need to. Mr. Hack / also on Twitch and TikTok. Give him a follow. Check out his work if you can. And then I'm also Bad Barbados. You can find me on Twitch and also on YouTube. Guys,
He's the one he's the glue holding this shit together.
Yeah, he's too modest to admit it.
whatever.
He just sat down and he
Yep.
was like, "I did everything for you."
No.
Yeah, no lie.
No,
Facts.
I'm honored to have you guys here with me and have you guys as a group to do this and to break down these videos. And I look forward to next week. I hope everyone had fun. And guys, thank you so
Real
much.
quick.
Go ahead.
I have a question from my chat.
Please.
How do they get to become a guest? How are we doing that? I know we're not doing it for a little while. I know we got our first guest set up. How do we go about someone wanting to be a guest and like that?
So we're still kind of breaking that down. Initially, we were looking at bringing on other streamers, one to help showcase them as a streamer, but also to have them in as a guest. So I'm not sure if we've opened it up to people who are not streaming. If this person is a streamer and has the ability to use things like Streamlabs, which is what we have to use in order to put on a show like this, a podcast. There's those requirements, obviously. You need to be able to do that. But I'm not against bringing on guests. I'm really not. I think today being our first ever episode, we went without a special guest because since it's the first episode, you guys are all the special guest. We're all special guests on the first episode, right? It's not
Right.
until the second episode that we become the return hosts, and we're not special anymore.
Yeah, we gotta self-reflect first. before-
Exactly. I love it. But anybody who's interested in being a guest, let's get them added to the Discord and let's talk. Okay. I think we'll be sharing the Discord links here soon. If you guys want to share the Discord link now, you can share it with your chats and get people into the Discord. Especially for the clip submission, share the clip. We'd love to see it because we can all learn from it as a group. All right, guys. I think that covers it all. Does anybody have anything else they want to add or talk about?
No, that's it for me.
I just want to say it's been an honor, and thank you for having me.
Awesome.
Yeah,
guys.
this has been really rad.
It has. It's been
I liked
chill.
it.
It's
Really
been
rad.
fun, and you know what? We're sharing that thousands and thousands of hours of experience together from different viewpoints, and hopefully chat's the one that wins here. So
Yeah.
Someone asked
Well,
if they
I
could
learned a
subscribe
lot,
to our
too,
Only
so.
Beards.
that's coming in the near future. Okay, that's coming in the near future.
I got a bunch of where did you find all these bearded gentlemen? Looks like a bunch of lumberjacks or bikers.
All right, guys. Much love, and until next week. Thank you so much, guys, for hanging out.
Love you long time.
Love you long time.
Have a good
Love you
one.
long time.
Bye.
See y'all.
Okay. Well, that was fun. That was super fun. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to end stream here. We are going to relaunch. I'm going to do my normal stream. We're going to get into some Tarky. Slushy, thank you for the 13 months. Yeah. Tricky. Yeah, unfortunately I don't have the blurps turned on. I'm still kind of tweaking these scenes for this stuff. It was kind of like put together last kind of minute thing. So yeah, I see the text, but I'm not hearing it. But I'm getting ready to throw on a track. We're gonna end, and then in about 15 minutes or so, I'm gonna fire the stream back up, and we're gonna get into the normal Tarky biz. And speaking of which, Tricky, I'm gonna need you for some reserve stuff here shortly. Just FYI, just a heads up. Let's see.